When we say that God has already planned a shift, it means your life is not a collection of random events. It means every high, every low, every delay, and every unexpected turn is connected to a divine pattern that God Himself designed before you were even born. Nothing about you surprises Him. Nothing in your life catches Him off guard. God does not react, He plans. And when He says a major shift is coming, it is because that shift was written into your destiny long before you ever face the battles that are trying to discourage you today. There are moments when you feel confused by what is happening around you. You pray, but the answer doesn't come. You hope, but things seem slow. You work, but you don't see results. In those moments, it is easy to think something is wrong. But the truth is far more comforting. God is working out His plan in ways you cannot see. His timing is different from yours because His sight is greater than yours. He sees the full picture, the end from the beginning, the path that leads you forward, and the dangers that you don't even know exist. When He delays, He is not denying you, He is preparing you. God's plan for your life is intentional. He doesn't place you in seasons just to watch you struggle. He places you in seasons to shape you, strengthen you, and build you into the person who can carry the blessing that is coming. Sometimes the process feels heavy. You may feel that the pain was unnecessary, the waiting was too long, the silence from heaven was too loud. But every part of the journey has meaning. Every tear watered the soil for the miracle that is growing beneath the surface. Every disappointment redirected you away from what would have harmed you. Every closed door protected you from entering a chapter that wasn't written for you. When God says something is planned, it means the shift is not dependent on your power. It does not rely on who supports you or who leaves you. It does not require your perfect behavior or your perfect faith. God's plan stands because He stands behind His word. What He authors, He finishes. What He designs, He brings to pass. And the shift that is coming in your life is not a sudden reaction from heaven. It is the unfolding of something that has been prepared long before you even prayed for it. There are blessings with your name on them that no one can take. There are opportunities that were created specifically for you, not for anyone else. There are doors that are programmed to open only when you arrive at the exact moment God designed. Nothing is late, nothing is early. Everything is aligned to the divinely appointed time. When God reveals a shift, it will not be subtle. It will be clear, undeniable, and unstoppable. You will see how every painful chapter was necessary. You will understand why certain people had to leave. You will realize why certain paths were blocked. You will recognize that God was not punishing you. He was positioning you. You may not understand everything right now, but you are not meant to. You are meant to trust. Trust that God is wise, faithful, and precise. Trust that He is not guessing, He is guiding. Trust that He is not confused, He is in control. The major shift coming is part of a plan written with purpose, love, and perfect timing. And when it unfolds, you will look back and say, God planned this all along. There are seasons in life where it feels like everything is standing still. You pray for change, you hope for progress, but instead you face silence, delays, and long periods where nothing seems to move. It's in these seasons that many people feel forgotten. They think that God has paused His plans or that something went wrong along the way. But the truth is that your waiting season was never a prison. It was preparation. God was not withholding your breakthrough. He was preparing you for it. You were not stuck. You were being shaped. When you look back, you will realize that some of your greatest lessons, some of your deepest growth, and some of your strongest moments came not from the breakthrough, but from the waiting before it. Waiting teaches you patience, and patience builds strength. Waiting teaches you trust, and trust builds faith. Waiting exposes your fears, and facing those fears transforms your character. God uses the quiet seasons to build what the loud seasons will require. He prepares you privately for what He wants to release publicly. You may not have noticed it, but during those silent days when you felt nothing was happening, God was actually working the deepest within you. He was enlarging your capacity to receive. He was refining your desires. He was removing things that would have damaged your future. He was breaking off old mindsets, old habits, and old ways of thinking that could not go with you into the next chapter. Sometimes God delays the blessing because He's busy preparing the person. A blessing released too early can become a burden, but a blessing released at the right time becomes a testimony. Every disappointment you faced in the waiting was not a sign of failure, it was a sign of direction. Every time something didn't work out, it was God guiding your steps. Every time someone walked away from your life, it was God protecting your journey. Every time a door closed, it was God redirecting you to a door meant specifically for you. Waiting is not God ignoring you. It is God aligning your life with the purpose He has written for you. And it's important to understand this. Preparation seasons are often uncomfortable. They stretch you, they challenge you, they expose your weaknesses so God can strengthen them. They make you confront the parts of yourself that you would rather avoid. But without this preparation, you would not be ready to carry the shift that God has planned. The size of your preparation always reflects the size of your calling. The deeper the waiting, the greater the blessing that follows. The longer the delay, the bigger the shift that is coming. When God prepares you, He doesn't rush. He takes His time because He builds with intention. He works layer by layer, moment by moment, shaping your heart, renewing your mind, and anchoring your faith. He lets you walk through situations that teach you how to depend on Him. He allows certain challenges so that when you step into your breakthrough, you will not fear losing it. You will know exactly who gave it to you. One day, very soon, you will look back at this waiting season and understand why it had to happen the way it did. You will realize that the strength you have now came from the struggles you thought would break you. You will see that the patience you carry today was produced during the months or years when nothing seemed to change. You will recognize that the version of you who will step into the new chapter could only be formed through the pressure of waiting. And when the shift finally arrives, it will make sense. The preparation will meet the promise. The waiting will meet the breakthrough. And you will step into your new season not confused, not fearful, but confident. Because now you know that God was preparing you all along. There are countless moments in life when you feel like nothing is happening. You pray, you believe, you speak faith, yet on the surface everything looks quiet. No change in your finances, no movement in your relationships, no shift in your circumstances. It feels like heaven is silent. But what you must understand is that God often works in the unseen before He reveals anything in the seen. Just because you cannot detect progress does not mean progress is not happening. God is the master architect of your destiny, and much of His greatest work happens behind the scenes. Think about the way seeds grow underground. For a long time, nothing appears on the surface. It looks like the soil is dead, dry, and unchanged. But beneath the ground, a powerful process is taking place. The seed is breaking open, roots are spreading, life is forming, and growth is moving in full force. In the same way, your life may appear motionless on the outside, but God is working deep beneath the surface, arranging things that must be ready before your breakthrough comes to light. What feels like stillness is actually divine activity. There are people God is moving out of your path without you even knowing. There are opportunities He is aligning in rooms where your name is being mentioned. There are doors He is preparing to open at the exact moment you are ready. There are dangers He is blocking that you never even saw. God does not need to announce His moves to you. He simply prepares them. And when the time is right, He reveals what He has been working on all along. Many times the reason you feel like nothing is changing is because God is rearranging things in your heart first. He works on your character, your mindset, your expectations, and your faith. He removes the fear that would have ruined the blessing. He strengthens the courage you will need. He builds the patience required to hold what is coming. It may feel like He is silent, but in reality He is speaking through every closed door, every redirection, and every situation that didn't go the way you expected. God's behind-the-scenes work is intentional. He is not slow, He is strategic. He does not delay, He designs. You may be asking for a breakthrough, but God is setting the foundation so that when the breakthrough arrives, it will last. You may be praying for a miracle, but God is aligning the people you will meet, the timing you need, and the environment that will support your blessing. He is managing details you don't even know matter yet. Sometimes God hides His work because if you saw everything He was arranging, you would move too early or try to rush the process. He knows your heart. He knows your tendencies. He knows when you are ready. So He works quietly, steadily, faithfully behind the scenes, ensuring that every piece is in place before He reveals the next chapter. And when God finally brings the shift, you will realize why He took His time. You will see how every delay had purpose. You will understand how every no was really protection. You will appreciate every moment where nothing seemed to move, because those were the times God was orchestrating the greatest changes. What you thought was stillness was strategy. What you thought was silence was preparation. What you thought was abandonment was alignment. There will come a moment when everything suddenly falls into place. The blessing will come, the door will open, the opportunity will appear, and you will see the beautiful completion of what God started in secret. And in that moment you will say with confidence, God was working all along, even when I couldn't see it. The shift that is coming into your life is not ordinary. It is not something that can be explained by human effort, luck, or timing. It is divine. It is supernatural. It is the kind of change that only God can bring. When God decides to move, He does not move halfway. He does not make small adjustments that only slightly improve your situation. He brings transformation that completely redefines your life. And the shift that is on its way to you is designed to do just that. It is bigger than you expect, greater than you imagine, and stronger than anything you have faced before. You may look at your life right now and feel ordinary. You may compare yourself to others and wonder why your breakthroughs haven't come yet. You may question if you will ever experience the kind of change that seems to come so easily to others. But the truth is that the extraordinary does not happen on ordinary terms. It does not happen through human effort alone. It happens when God steps in, when His plans intersect with your faith, and when His power works through your life. That is why the shift coming is not something you can create by yourself. It is a gift from heaven, prepared specifically for you. God's divine intervention does not depend on your abilities. It does not require your connections, your resources, or your strategies. In fact, many of the greatest blessings come to those who have nothing left to rely on but Him. The bigger the challenge, the greater the reliance on God, the more magnificent the shift. Your own strength can only carry you so far, but God's strength has no limit. The shift coming to you is proof that He wants to take you beyond the limitations of your own effort into a realm of supernatural provision, favor, and breakthrough. Often people try to rush God's timing. They try to create their own opportunities or force doors open that are not meant for them. But divine shifts do not follow human schedules. They follow God's timing. And when God releases a shift, it is perfect in every way. It is aligned with your purpose, your destiny, and your calling. It will not bring regret, confusion, or harm. It will not fade or fail. It will be complete, whole, and transformative. That is why waiting for God's shift is not passive. It is active faith. It is trusting that God is already working behind the scenes to bring exactly what you need at the exact time you need it. The divine shift also requires your readiness. God prepares the heart, mind, and spirit before the blessing comes. He works on your character, refines your perspective, and strengthens your faith so that when the shift arrives, you can receive it fully, without fear, doubt, or hesitation. This is why seasons of challenge, waiting, and even struggle are not wasted. They are the preparation stages. They equip you to handle the extraordinary blessing that only God can provide When the shift finally comes, it will be undeniable. You will recognize it immediately because it will exceed anything you could have created on your own. It will align circumstances, people, and opportunities in a way that feels miraculous. And when it unfolds, you will realize that God's divine plan was in motion all along, carefully orchestrated for your good, your growth, and your glory. The shift is not random. It is intentional. It is supernatural, and it is yours because God has promised it. There is a truth you must hold on to. Nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop what God has spoken. When God declares a promise, it is not conditional on circumstances, opinions, or human limitations. His word is not dependent on your strength, your connections, or even your understanding. What He speaks is eternal, unshakable, and unstoppable. The very moment God says it, it begins to unfold, even if you cannot see it immediately. Opposition may arise, challenges may appear, people may doubt, obstacles may seem insurmountable. But none of these things can hinder the plan God has set in motion for your life. Every person who has walked in faith knows the experience of waiting while life seems to resist the promise. You may have faced closed doors, betrayal, financial struggles, or emotional pain. You may have encountered discouragement that made you question whether God's word would come true. But understand this, God is never late and He is never powerless. Every obstacle is temporary. Every opposition is limited. Every difficulty is a setup for your miracle. What God has spoken, He will perform, and there is no force on earth that can override His divine will. When God speaks, it is a declaration of destiny. It is a statement of intent that cannot fail. Your faith may be tested, but the promise itself is guaranteed. Life may try to convince you that the situation is impossible, but that is the test of your belief. The more you trust, the more you align yourself with God's unstoppable plan. The greater the resistance, the greater the glory that will follow when His word comes to pass. Obstacles are not signs of denial. They are the proving ground for your faith, the place where your trust grows, and the moment where your reliance on God becomes unshakable. Think about the power in God's word. He spoke the universe into existence. He set the stars in motion with His voice. He divided the seas, healed the sick, and raised the dead, all by His command. If nothing can stop what He has done in creation, how can anything stop what He has promised you? Your breakthrough, your shift, your miracle is already ordained. It is only a matter of time before what He has spoken becomes visible in your life. The forces of fear, doubt, or opposition may try to distract you, but they are powerless against the word of the living God. This truth also means that you do not have to fight for your promise in the way the world fights. You do not have to manipulate, chase, or force circumstances to align. Your responsibility is faith, persistence in prayer, and obedience to God's guidance. The results are His to deliver, and His timing is perfect. You can rest in the assurance that the shift, the blessing, and the breakthrough are already on the way because God has declared it. There is no authority, no power, and no situation capable of stopping what God has planned for your life. So when doubt arises, remember, God's word is unstoppable. When fear creeps in, remember, God's promise cannot be canceled. When opposition attacks, remember, it is temporary and the victory is permanent. Keep your heart steady, your faith strong, and your eyes on the one who never fails. The shift coming into your life is guaranteed because God said it. What He has spoken is not subject to circumstance. It is inevitable. It is unstoppable. And it is already moving toward you. You are stepping into a new chapter, one that has already been written before you even walk this earth. God's plans for your life are not random, and the blessings He has prepared for you are not accidental. Every challenge you faced, every tear you shed, and every trial you endured were all laying the groundwork for this moment. You may not see it yet, but the next season of your life is already set in motion, perfectly aligned with His purpose and timing. What is coming is bigger than anything you could have imagined, greater than anything you have prayed for, and richer than anything you have earned. It is a divine orchestration that only God could arrange. This new chapter is not just about external changes, it is about transformation within. God does not only shift circumstances, He also shifts hearts, perspectives, and destinies. He molds you into the person capable of handling the blessings, responsibilities, and opportunities that are coming. The struggles you have endured were not wasted. They were shaping your faith, increasing your patience, and developing your character so that when you step into this new chapter, you are ready to embrace it fully without fear or hesitation. Preparation precedes promotion, and readiness precedes revelation. As you step forward, understand that the path ahead has been divinely aligned. The people you will meet, the doors that will open, and the opportunities that will appear are all part of God's perfect plan. Nothing will be out of place, and no one can take away what has already been ordained for you. Sometimes you may feel unworthy, unsure, or overwhelmed by the magnitude of what is coming. But this is exactly why God's planning is perfect. He equips the vessel to handle the blessing. He provides guidance, strength, and clarity so that when the shift occurs, you can walk through it confidently and purposefully. This next chapter is also a time for restoration. It is a season where things lost will be returned, where wounds will be healed, and where your faith will be rewarded. Every delayed blessing, every unanswered prayer, and every closed door in the past were temporary pauses, not permanent denials. God has been arranging everything so that your life will align perfectly with His promises. What may have seemed like setbacks were in fact steps leading you toward your destiny. You are about to witness the unfolding of God's perfect timing. In stepping into this new season, you must walk with expectation and confidence. Doubt has no place here. Fear cannot accompany you. You must trust that the road ahead has been paved by the one who holds your life in His hands. God's plans are flawless and His timing is exact. He has prepared this chapter with precision, and when it begins, you will see the fulfillment of promises that you have been waiting for. The blessings, opportunities, and breakthroughs are ready to meet you, and nothing can delay them any longer. Remember, this is not just a shift. It is a transformation. It is a divine transition from waiting to receiving, from struggle to triumph, from limitation to abundance. God has already written this chapter, and it will come to pass. The more you believe, the more you trust, and the more you prepare yourself spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, the more fully you will experience the glory of this new season. You are not entering it alone. God is leading, guiding, and empowering you every step of the way. So lift your eyes, stand firm in faith, and step boldly into what God has planned. Your next chapter is not uncertain. It is secured, ordained, and overflowing with blessings. The shift is coming, and it is greater than you have imagined. What God has written for you is inevitable, and it is already on its way. Embrace it with confidence, because your life is about to change forever, and it will be beautiful beyond measure.